Hey folks, it's Will, and I wanted to talk lineages and strains. I wanted to give you a really quick blow-through education on all the lineages and strains in Dystopia Rising. This will give you an opportunity to figure out what you want to dig into more. There's lots of lore in the book. There's lots of lore in the supplemental materials, and on each branch's website, they should have more details. So I'm going to start with the book order because that's just easier. The elitariate, kind of the root word is elite. All of these strains exist in a place of privilege. Either they've got, they grew up in leadership positions. They have lots of infrastructure, lots of things that they can take advantage of. These are the Digitarians, which they're kind of the nerds of the group. They have outstanding memories and are really good at holding a grudge. They dress, they like old world circuitry that doesn't work anymore, wires, and if you ever saw kind of paramilitary, kind of SWAT team type stuff, good chance it is a Digitarian. Purebloods, money. All the elitariates are great at making money. Purebloods dress in flashy outfits, whatever comes for wasteland high fashion these days, and stuff like that. There's also within the elitariate is the Celestros. They are also kind of within that kind of thing. They're very much they have trouble not trying to one up purebloods. Now, Townies, they exist because when the world fell apart, people stuck to metropolitan areas. These big places where society once flourished and then quickly fell apart in the aftermath of the apocalypse. Gonna go back to elitariate real quick. The elitariate strain, lineage advantage is that they can spend mind at an event to just make money automatically without having to play the game. When I mean like the financial influence game. So that's super cool, super useful. Other lineage advantages I'll explain in a minute. Back to Townies. So Baywalkers, when everything fell apart, they were near a town or a metropolis that was near the water or a swamp or something along those lines. Yorkers, lots of infrastructure. They tend to be joiners. Baywalkers tend to be covered in tattoos. Vegasians, while some could be mistaken for purebloods, they like to take the garish and gaudy and kick it to 11. They are, they are often found trying to leave a fight early because that's one of their things. For Townies, if they can loop you in, they're about what's the goings on and provide role play for that. They get a mind refresh of 5 mind points, I think. So it's kind of cool. It's a good opportunity to have someone, if you like sharing lore about the setting and bringing new people in, Townie might be a good call. Nomads. So nomads are a lineage that are comprised of people who just kept moving. A lot of people settled down. Nomads kept moving. Diesel jocks are the archetypical, road warrior, life on the road, just stopping for gas kind of people. they, rovers are, move a little slower because they don't necessarily need, combustion engines for their stuff. Horse and buggy's fine. But rovers care a lot about hospitality, and they also, rovers tend to have a lot of scarves. Then saltwise are they require life near the sea. If they wander too far, now you can still totally play them all over now, but if you're playing at a game that's not next to an ocean, try and role play and costume appropriately that they're kind of dried out and flaking, they're a little ashy. So with that, the Nomad's advantage is that if there is a walk into town mod, like everybody comes into town has to fight, or everybody comes into town, walks through a cloud of smoke and gets sick, Nomads, because of their enhanced mobility, don't have to worry about that. They can be like, I'm a nomad, I have a vehicle. You have to have a carded vehicle. Like, I'm a nomad, I get by that. So the next lineage is the Gorgers, and they're named that because they eat people. It really depends on, some more than others. It really, they eat people, they get, they heal up a little from it, and they've also eaten someone. So on that list are the Full Dead, which are almost completely walking corpses, really close. The Sempermorts, which sometimes get called vampires because they've got the vampire fangs, and Lascarians. Lascarians are, tunnel dwellers who cover themselves in cloth so that they don't have to worry about sun exposure. I just jumped over Sempermorts. They kind of have the kind of vampire vibe going on, and in our setting, I actually really like the way they've developed in our setting. So I'll save more of that for later. Next up, we have the mutant lineage, which mutants are kind of cool because they can never die from a disease. Like, they can have it progress and have all sorts of horrible things happening, but they're never actually going to die from it because of they're mutating so rapidly. That's their advantage. So remnants are one of the strains. They have visible physical mutations. They might have deer horns, or scaly skin, or maybe they've got extra appendages. That seems to be a thing recently. That's what's up with them. Retrogrades were exposed to large levels of radiation, and their skin just started to fall off. If you're familiar with Fallout, they, aesthetically they can be similar to ghouls. I've seen a lot of good, a lot of amazing retrograde makeup. So then the next are the Tainted. They're also paired up with the mutants. The Tainted always have bad brain. And for those of you who don't know what bad brain is, raiders have this thing called bad brain, and the raiders that are actually raiding and killing people and trying to eat them have an incurable version of it where they're basically just monsters. Now, the Tainted are not full-on monsters, but they have some kind of monstrous tendencies. They'll randomly lash out violently at other people, and it's because of this disease that they can't get rid of that's kind of coursing through their entire physicality. So they're one of the newer strains. They're fun to play. Landsmen. If they get together and they talk about, if they have a drinking party, or if they talk about the local community, or suspicious security risks, whatever, they get some mind back from role-playing that and being deliberate about it. They are Americans, which Americans love them. They like hats in America. Natural ones are kind of descended from people who were super paranoid about surveillance, and they're the ones that would kind of run off and have special makeup to deceive, facial recognition software, and lots of camouflage, or wearing a ghillie suit. They're paranoid. They are not much for outsiders or technology. It doesn't specifically say no guns, but they're less likely to pick one up. But they can still pick them up if they absolutely have to. Quiet folk, well, if you've ever been through, one of those small towns where everybody knows each other, and, being too different is frowned upon, who the quiet folk are. They're very community focused, and, very, they believe what is told to them. Now, if they discover something's a lie, then they get real bent out of shape and, well, get people to make things bad for the person who they found out lied to them. Okay, so the next lineage is the devoted. And the devoted can meditate to regenerate their mind. Just another way in which that can happen. And as long as it's within theme for these three strains, then that's okay. Their Accensorites are devoted, that are absolutely devoted to a faith. They become the walking embodiment of that faith. And they can be kind of obnoxious about it, but that's okay. Red Star, their faith is in humanity and people. They will do whatever they can to help the community. Excuse me. Then we have the Unborn. The Unborn are devoted to the Mortis Amaranthine, the grave mind, because that is from which they were created. They are mostly comprised of that sort of biomass. And then finally, we have the Evolved. The Evolved are kind of cool because you can, someone can walk up and go, hey, mangle limb, and try to break one of your character's arms with a boffer, of course. And you can go, no effect. You get to do that free once per event. So they're the one that has an obviously combat leaning skill. So those are the Irons. They glow in the dark. They have red bioluminescence. The Reclaimers, who have kind of, they're kind of held together with belts, and then they've got red arms, and then they've got, Unstable are held together, and they've also got a blue glow. Unstable are kind of have this, we're better than everybody kind of self-important thing going on. Not quite pure bloody, but from a different direction, because they were deliberately designed on purpose as a strain. So that's a little creepy. So yeah, they glow blue. And so that's my list of lineages and strains. If you have any questions, if I miss anything, feel free to let me know below. And if you'd like to see a more in-depth dive into each strain or lineage, let me know. Thanks so much, and I will see you in the wasteland.